Hey everybody, welcome back to E3 on Twitch. I'm one of your hosts, Rachel, aka Seltzer. I've got Kelly Link down on the end, and I've got David and Julian here from Phoenix Point to talk about the game with you guys today. Now, you're well experienced with this. We're well into E3, so I'm going to give you a minute on the clock to give me a top down of the game.
So Phoenix Point is about repelling an alien invasion of Earth. So the Earth has been invaded by an alien virus called the Pandora virus, which is essentially mutating everything that it comes into contact with and turning it into a weapon. So you play the role of the commander of a secret organization called the Phoenix Project, and your goal is to research the alien threat and then combat and figure out how to defeat it.
And we're a secret organization because we're secret from the aliens, right?
Well, not just secret from the aliens, because in this world there are actually 3 other human factions that you have to deal with. And one of the interesting things we got in this game is you actually have 3 different endings to the game, depending which faction you ally with. And you have to deal with researching and stealing or taking their technology and taking resources. So there's a kind of almost like a 4X element to the strategy layer of the game.
So we're going to have to make an ally choice of these 3 races that we cannot go back from.
Well, it will be difficult. You can. So there is a 4th ending, which is just your Phoenix Project ending, which is probably a bit more difficult. But it is much easier to ally with one of these human factions, and they're very diverse. So you have a religious cult, which is called Disciples of Anu. You have a technocratic sort of organization, which is led by a strong man. And you have a sort of social ecology style organization that wants to reclaim the Earth, so they have very different views how to do it. But ultimately, the threat for everyone, for the human race, is these mutations, these monsters that are coming at you, and they get bigger and nastier as they mutate and evolve and respond to your sort of tactics and your attacks on them.
Well, the first thing that I see looking at the game right now, although the viewpoint just changed a little bit, now we have it there again, is that you obviously have this top-down tactics, XCOM sort of view going on, but then you transition it into that third-person view. What other new things are you guys kind of bringing towards the XCOM genre to like bring a new taste to it, to bring a new flair?
Well, the other thing we got, as you can see here, is you can actually zoom in and take an aim at a particular body part on the target. And it gives you a first-person view of the actual shooting, which gives you much more immersion and intimate relationship with what the soldiers are actually doing. So this is new. This is different to previous XCOM-style games, for example.
Definitely.
I definitely, and thinking of games like this, you know, you are playing on such a macro level, but then you get into the micro where you've named your character, you know, you might have gone on some particular journeys, and now you're zooming in close and playing with these characters, and then you're going to break my heart when they succumb to the alien invasion here. Tell me a little bit about the characters that we're going to meet that are going to be consistent, and then maybe some of the characters that we're going to have to say goodbye to, or that are going to be transient in the story.
Yes, so in the game we have 7 different soldier classes, and you can recruit your soldiers from any of the other human factions. Some of them might be mutated as well, and if you get that technology, you can start mutating your own soldiers.
Is that like a lucky find? Like you get like a half mutated guy in your French fries, you get a little onion ring dude?
Well, they look a bit more impressive than that, but yes.
Hey, onion rings are impressive.
There's a lot of character customization, so you can mix and match armor items, you can choose the look and appearance of your characters, you know, race and gender, facial you know, tattoos and all that kind of stuff. So it's quite a lot of character customization.
It's also really up to you to choose how much of the alien technology that you want to actually incorporate into your own squad.
I'm imagining this comes at a but at what cost kind of question.
That's definitely one of the questions that's in the background there. Yeah, definitely.
Well, we saw a little consequence in the trailer too. What the infection might look like. That was a human hand with I think 2 of the alien fingers on there.
That's right.
Can you tell me about that guy? That gal had a great manicure. That was really coming in.
Well, yeah, it went pretty badly wrong. So the trailer's really about sort of setting the tone of you're against these really pretty horrific odds, and the idea that mutation is really at the center of the game. That both the enemies will evolve. So if you keep winning against a certain type of enemy, it'll actually change and mutate.
Oh, no.
And then it's also up to you how much you want to incorporate the alien mutations into your own soldiers.
How linear is the progression? Because I saw what looked like a map view of a bunch of nodes that you could travel to, and it seemed like that was pretty open.
Yes, it's actually procedurally generated. So each time you start a new game, it will be a different setup. You'll find different things at the start of the game. There is an exploration element. You have to send out your ship and your soldiers to actually find and locate things. You need to scavenge resources. You need to meet the other factions and then deal with them using a sort of diplomatic sort of interface. So yeah, so each time you start the game, it will be quite a different experience for the player.
So every time you start the game, is this sort of like a roguelite where it's only like a 10-hour, how long is a playthrough?
Oh, it is quite long. So we're talking 25 to 30 hours for a full campaign.
So definitely not a
involved.
roguelite, it's just dynamic.
No.
It's a one more turn.
Yeah.
Hefty
it's
boy.
quite-
Yeah, it's a little bit, I would say, a bit closer to the original XCOM in that what we're trying to give you the sense of is that there's this evolving world where you have the aliens and they have their plan, you have these other human factions and they all have their own objectives, and you're sort of dropped into that, and the way it can play out is very, very different every time that you play.
Yeah, I love these replayability games, but the first like 20 turns are always our favorite, where you pick your spot and you start setting up, and then you're like, I don't like it, and you move on. So as I play this game again and again, am I going to be experiencing different parts of the story depending on which group I choose to ally with? How many playthroughs is it going to take me to sort of unpack the entire narrative?
So,
Julian's laughing. That's not good.
How many? That's a good question. I don't really know. But if you want to unpack the 4 main endings, then yes, you'll have to probably play it at least 4 times. And you have to be successful, of course.
It's going to take me 4 times.
Yeah,
I'll get there
4
in
times
20 or 30.
winning, yeah.
the other thing we're planning to do is, this is a game that we really see as a really living game. So the game will evolve a lot as we continue to update the game. There'll be free updates. There'll be some larger expansions that are going to add new enemies, new weapons, new factions, and really kind of expand the toolkit that you're working with, which I think will be pretty exciting.
That's so exciting to hear, because I love games like this where you play your 4 games, you get your 4 endings, but I don't want to stop. I'm so addicted to my 4X titles, my tactical titles. So this is really, really interesting here. And as I understand it, Kelly brought up the allusion to XCOM, but you've added some quality of life changes as well for gamers who want to kind of immerse themselves a little quicker.
So what we want to do is make the game, particularly if you've come out of the Firaxis XCOM, XCOM 2, both fantastic games, by the way, then it's going to be pretty familiar to you to kind of jump in. But we also want to try and educate you on some of the ways that it plays a little differently. So, I think one of the major differences that you'll see in the tactical layer is it sort of in some ways behaves a little bit more like a shooter, because when you're aiming an enemy, it's sort of not a dice roll. It's not like you got a 20% chance of hitting or missing. We sort of show you where your bullet is likely to go, which is why we can do the first-person aiming, and it really is accurate. So it's sort of it'll feel a little bit more intuitive in that sense. Yeah, definitely trying to introduce our own little spin on some stuff.
All right, fun question time. Tell me your favorite weapons. What's the biggest, baddest boom I can do?
Oh, it's probably the Hell Cannon. It's
The
like a
Hell
single
Cannon.
shot
Good name.
device.
Let me just write this down, Riley.
So yeah, this will blow small creatures away with one shot, but it's also very useful against the large monsters, which take multiple types of hits and attacks to deal with. But we've all got lots of different kinds of damage types. And you've got acid, you've got virus guns, virus weapons, flamethrowers. There's a lot of fire in the game, so it's kind of there's a lot of choice.
I like that. You've clearly gone through the arsenal here, flexed them all. I mean, you told me the biggest one. Do you have a favorite?
Well, apart from the Hell Cannon, I actually quite like the flamethrower as well, because it's quite pretty.
Well, you're allowed to be proud of the prettiness of this game. It's a gorgeous looking game. I love the trailer. Anything else you want to shout out for the fans at home that we might have missed to make them aware of?
Just the release date. So we're coming out on September 3rd on the Epic Games Store and in Xbox Game Pass for PC. And so if you want to see any more information, just go to phoenixpoint.info, and yeah, a bunch more stuff there.
Are you doing a pre-order thing?
Yes, we are. In fact, we've been doing early access for a little while now through our own store, and yeah, so people have been playing. We've had a bunch of people playing early builds of the game.
All right.
Doing that too.
Well, last question I got for you guys is, people want to join the conversation, they have more questions for you, where can they reach out to the game studio or you guys individually?
Well, if you want to hit us, if you want to send us an email, you can just hit us at contact@snapshotgames.com. I would say also join our Discord and our subreddit, and yeah, hit us up.
Well, thank you so much for your insights. This is another exciting game. Guys, so many games here at E3. They're coming up. Don't go anywhere. That's my camera. See you later.